This kind of event is always the most heartbreaking. No matter what circumstances they disappear under, it is deeply saddening. And we are always afraid that in the end, we will find their bodies. Although this situation is not common, it has indeed happened before. Among the cases we've handled, one is particularly unforgettable. This story took place in a quiet little town called Pine Grove. That day, Samantha brought her two children to this park known for its beautiful forest scenery, planning to spend a pleasant afternoon there. Samantha's children, 8-year-old Kelly and 5-year-old Jack, were a very lively sibling duo. The sun was shining brightly, a gentle breeze blowing, and their laughter echoed through the air as they played on the grass. Samantha carefully watched over them, ensuring they were always within her sight. The incident occurred just as Samantha had packed up the picnic items, ready to take the children back to the parking lot. The path was not long, about 2 kilometers, clearly marked and difficult to get lost on. She let the children walk ahead while she followed behind. Suddenly, she heard a rustling sound behind her. Turning around, she saw a deer hurriedly dashing through the woods, disappearing into the distance. When she turned back around, she realized Kelly and Jack were gone. At first, she wasn't alarmed, thinking they had just run ahead to play, but after a few minutes, she still couldn't see them. She began calling their names, but there was no response. As time passed, Samantha started to panic. She quickly checked the surrounding area, but still couldn't find the children. Her heart raced, her mind filled with all kinds of terrifying thoughts. Finally, she dialed 911 for help. Police and rescue teams quickly arrived on the scene and launched a comprehensive search. Search dogs sniffed the children's clothing and began tracking through the forest. During the initial hours, everyone remained hopeful, but as night fell, the search became increasingly difficult. Samantha was stationed at a temporary command center, anxiously awaiting any news. By the next morning, the search team still hadn't found any clues. The police expanded the search area, but no matter how hard they tried, there were no signs of Kelly and Jack. The forest seemed to have swallowed the children, leaving behind nothing but endless darkness and fear. At this point, a local old hunter named Tom volunteered to join the search team. He knew the forest like the back of his hand. Aware of some hidden corners unknown to most, Tom told the police that there was an abandoned mine deep in the forest where the children might have been trapped. Guided by Tom, the rescue team headed to the hidden mine. The entrance was covered with thick vines, almost undetectable. When they finally entered, they found it pitch dark and chilling. The team cautiously explored, every step fraught with difficulty. Suddenly, the searchlight at the front of the team illuminated a small figure. Everyone quickened their pace, hearts filled with hope. As they approached, they saw it was a little girl, Kelly. She was sitting on the ground, her eyes vacant, clearly traumatized. Jack lay curled up beside her, unconscious. Kelly's condition was dire. She was shaking uncontrollably, muttering incoherently, seemingly trapped in some terrifying memory. Jack was in an even more critical state, his body temperature extremely low, evidently suffering from prolonged exposure to the cold in the mine. Medical personnel quickly extracted them and rushed them to the nearest hospital. At the hospital, doctors conducted thorough examinations. Kelly's mental state was highly unstable, requiring psychological treatment. Jack's situation was more dangerous. His body temperature was critically low, showing signs of severe hypothermia. The doctors worked tirelessly and eventually managed to save his life. But the story didn't end there. After the children recovered, the police questioned them, trying to understand the truth. Kelly told them that they had encountered a strange man on their way home. The man was tall and sinister, with a bizarre smile on his face. He lured them into the depths of the forest with sweet words, and then took them to the mine. Kelly's description was very detailed, but the police knew nothing about this man. Even more chilling, Kelly mentioned that the man's eyes were unusually cold, devoid of any humanity. She even said that in his eyes, she saw countless children, all filled with fear and despair. The police launched a large-scale investigation based on Kelly's description, but could never find any clues. The man seemed to have vanished into thin air, never appearing again. This case became an unsolved mystery in Pine Grove, remaining unresolved to this day. Years later, Samantha and her children moved away from the small town, trying to start anew, but the horrific memories stayed with them forever, becoming an unhealed wound in their hearts. And the residents of Pine Grove never forgot about the strange man and the missing children. This story became a shadow in the town's history, chilling everyone who heard it. This story tells us that losing a child is the most heartbreaking experience for any parent, no matter the circumstances. Such events are always unbearable, and when we cannot explain those bizarre phenomena, fear and unease will endlessly expand, becoming an eternal shadow in our hearts.